Hey guys, Nick here. Hey, and last week we kind of talked about training and where to go get it. More importantly, we kind of discussed the um, the fuel tech, wiring and programming class. This week I kind of want to go back and do a training recap, kind of show you all some of the stuff that I decided to buy when I was there because y'all know that we are going to do a Barra build. Um, that's kind of the goal behind all of this. That's the reason for learning a lot of stuff. We're always going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to try to learn something new. We're going to have a little bit of fun with it. We kind of went through and got some of the stuff we had. And just to show you that, I'm not sitting there bullshitting you. I did the course. This is their certificate of completion that they give you. And y'all did see the Fuel Tech Education sheet from last week. So, how was the course? The course was great. I mean, Eduardo and Manny, they are absolutely phenomenal. Individuals who are giving the class, at least at this time, when I did it. You may have a different instructor whenever you go next. However, those two are, the two that we had, and they're absolutely amazing. They took the time to really explain to us the nitty gritty of what we had to get done. They helped us develop the initial base tunes for what's going to be going on our ECUs. And, they made sure that all of our questions were answered and we had relevant topics to talk about. We actually talked about stuff that the class is working on and stuff that we had planned. And then also, we went over to the Fuel Tech headquarters, which is right across the street from the training area now, every day to go watch, some dyno runs, get a tour of their facility, and really learn how they do things and why Fuel Tech is, as good as they are. And why people who use Fuel Tech are, extremely passionate for it. And I'm going to tell you something. It starts with the employees. The employees at the Fuel Tech office are absolutely amazing, friendly. Want to talk, want to have conversations about cars. They're car people, which is good. You know, and when you actually talk to some of the management there, they're great people and stuff like that. We did have a chance to have a discussion with the owner of Fuel Tech, and really have a conversation with him and kind of learn about how he did how he did things and all that fun stuff. So we got the history on the organization. So you know if you're not familiar with who that is, it's Anderson. You'll hear him pop up a lot, especially in conversation about Fuel Tech. You've seen him in everybody else's videos who've ever done anything. Boosted Boys, Kyle was just over there last weekend to go pick up the carbon body MR2 that he's doing. And they were doing their 22nd year anniversary, which is another reason why if you're going to buy something, buy it now. There's tremendous discounts on a lot of their stuff. And yes, you can see that here is the invoice. We had a little bit of fun with it. I definitely got what I thought I needed. The good part is before I ordered any of the equipment, I did talk with Eduardo and Manny to actually see, hey, guess what? This is what I need. Especially building a 6-cylinder, especially only doing one injector per fire per cylinder. So in the fact that the vehicle that we're going to be building is going to be mostly a drag and drive type vehicle, and one that if decided, can possibly use as a daily driver. If things go kind of interesting in the next couple months. So that's kind of what we want to do. It's really where we want to build it. I was doing a little bit of math today, and I may need to either order a PDU or a input expander from Fuel Tech, which will probably be maybe both, but we'll see, because Fuel Tech does work with some PDMs power distribution modules. So if you want to see some of that, you know, a lot of people have them on YouTube right now talking about it, about mapping them together. But, you know, with all things, you know, let's kind of get into, you know, some of the stuff we picked up. So right here, right up in front, is the Fueltech FT550. You know, this is their Fueltech 550, you know, ECU, and we'll go ahead and, you know, pop it open. So if you've never seen a, you know, Fueltech ECU, we will go ahead and do that now. Mind you, this is a good reason to always have your knife on you at all times, which is absolutely in the other pocket. There it is. So, you know, I chose this one because of the amount of inputs and outputs that I get. This one's got 20. It's one of their bigger units. You know, right now they definitely don't have, you know, they have definitely something bigger. So, you know, it kind of comes in the box like this, and then we pop the top off. So this is all of the cables, connectors, harnesses, screws, screw packs, stickers, because, you know, everybody likes stickers. This is programmed off their FT software, not their newest software they have. Newest software is for the 500, for the 700s. So you got your quick install guide, and then you have the actual ECU itself and the bracket. So there is a bracket, a mounting bracket that is located down at the bottom. You know, it is a basic plastic mounting bracket. However, we will most likely be building our own bracket or our own mounting solution. So, you know, with that, you know, get ready for some of that content, because we're going to be doing a little bit of CAD work, a little bit of 3D printing. So there is the FT550. So, and, you know, we'll put it back in its cover just to make sure that nothing happens to it. And like we talked about before, the last thing you want to do is, you know, damage one of these things, especially during installation or any type of, you know, moving around the vehicle when you're doing fabrication and whatnot. So, why do I say that? I say that because the good people at Fueltech, if you go on their website and you look up the ECU that you want, you can get the CAD documentation. Their exact model, so if you're building your pieces and parts, for example, I've kind of already been working a little bit on a dash mount for this, so we are going to be working through that. But the thing is what we're going to do is we're actually going to 3D print, you know, possibly be using resin, you know, if we decide to resin print an exact duplicate of the ECU and also this little guy, the nano, the WBO2 nanometer, so for the wideband meter. So we don't actually have to worry about destroying anything that is either technical or kind of expensive. And we're going to go through with that to make sure, you know, that everything is copacetic, everything doesn't get hurt. If that's something that y'all want to see, let me know. If y'all want to see the process of printing one of these ECUs via, you know, resin or FFF, or, you know, if you're so inclined to call it FDM still, you know, we'll go ahead and print one. We'll see how it goes. We'll print everything that's kind of expensive, and you'll see here in a minute. If you want one of those after I do them, definitely, you know, make a comment or something like that, and we'll figure out how to, you know, maybe we'll start we'll put them on a website, put them on the website someplace for y'all to be able to purchase them. So the WB202 nano sensor, That's what that is. It's for your wideband O2 sensor, and it comes with a little, instruction booklet. Mind you, when you do purchase some of their equipment, you do need to purchase the wire harnesses separate. So I go into that to talk about the fact that over here I have the 550B side harness from them. These are unterminated harnesses, so we're going to terminate our own harnesses. This is the wideband O2 harness that they sell. Then this is the 550 main side harness that we will be, walking through. This will require us tipping our own, except for the wideband O2. It does already have that capability on board. So then, of course, we have our map sensor as well, our map software as well. So, now we kind of go into another thing we picked up, which is going to be a set of their high impedance 170 pound injectors. We did get 6 of these because we are building a 6-cylinder. So this is 4. They have them on 4 and 8 packs, so I got 2 additional ones sitting over the corner. So when you open them, they come like this. And then when you open it up, there is all of your injectors. And if we go ahead and remove this plastic casing, we'll pull out one of their 170 pound injectors, and that is what it looks like. These are the Fuel Tech 170 pound injectors. So if you're interested about that, they have all their specs, pretty well laid out, on their website, which is always good. Working in the automotive industry, you really don't see that all too much, so you're kind of stuck with what you get. But I'll tell you one thing, the one thing that Fuel Tech is known for is customer service and documentation. Y'all, they probably have some of the best documentation and customer service that anybody's asked for. We talked about that last video, and we'll talk about it every single time because that's what they're known for. This is the switch panel mini. So this will handle a lot of our button pushes. This is their mini version of the 8 panel. It does come with its own harness, so its harness is already built in. So when you open it up, it comes with all of their documentation. And then inside the box is going to be the FT8 Mini, the switch panel 8 Mini, and that's what that is. So from there, we walk into the last thing that we picked up, and that is going to be ignition coils. So, most Barra motors don't have smart coils. I know the big change for those things is using the RB26 and 24 coils to run those cars and have an adapter harness. However, sticking with the theme of using, Fuel Tech equipment, this is their ignition coil. So, when you open up the box, we'll go ahead and pull out the ignition coil, and that is what the smart ignition coil does look like. So we will be 3D printing one of these as well, or 6 of these, along with the switch panel, the ECU, and the wideband O2 meter. So from that, so we don't have to worry about damaging the equipment that we bought, just to make things easier for install and, all that fun stuff. So, that's everything we picked up, a little bit of rundown of the course. Y'all, if you're military, veteran, whatever, contact their sales department, because they do have a military discount. They are military friendly. So, reach out to them, get a hold of them, and, go from there. I'm going to be learning like the rest of y'all. So we're going to have some fun with this. We're going to see where we go. So y'all, I appreciate y'all, and let's keep learning, let's keep having fun, and get out there, do something, leave some comments, let us know, like and subscribe. We really do appreciate that. We appreciate y'all, the ones that are here with us, and we hope y'all have a good one, and we'll see you later.